Hello and welcome to the second episode of This Week in Sports, brought to you by English NEWJ, where we bring to you all the latest happenings from the world of sport. We kick off this episode with India's new innings on the cricket field under a new leader, after Virat Kohli went from being the captain in all formats to captain in none of the formats within a space of 5 months. India played South Africa in a 3-match ODI series this past week, their first after Kohli stepped down as Test captain on January 15 and was removed from ODI captaincy last December and lost 3-0. Even as India build a new team under a new captain, they have their task cut out, as the ICC has announced the fixtures for the upcoming T20 World Cup 2022 to be held in Australia. Like last year, India will begin their World Cup campaign with a match against Pakistan. The T20 World Cup will be preceded by the tournament often considered a dress rehearsal for Indian cricketers in a World Cup year. The mega auctions for IPL 2022 will be held in Bengaluru on February 12 and 13, and the two new teams kicking off their campaigns this year have named the players they have drafted from the auction pool. Moving on to the tennis court, the legendary Sania Mirza announced that she will retire from tennis at the end of the 2022 season. The 35-year-old said her body is wearing down and the motivation to continue playing isn't the same anymore. Mirza is a 6-time Grand Slam doubles champion and a former world number 1 in the WTA women's doubles rankings. On the football field, Arsenal were held to a 0-0 draw by Burnley in the Premier League. Liverpool beat Crystal Palace 3-1, while Chelsea beat Tottenham Hotspur 2-0. Manchester United beat West Ham United 1-0 and Manchester City were held to a 1-1 draw at Southampton. It's been another action-packed week, so let's get into the finer details. After losing the Test series to South Africa, India finished second best in the ODI series as well, losing all 3 games of the series over a span of 6 days. After losing the first 2 ODIs comprehensively in Paarl, India gave a tough fight to the hosts in the third match in Cape Town but fell short by 4 runs. Chasing 288 runs to win, India looked on track when Virat Kohli and Shikhar Dhawan made half-centuries, but their wickets and Rishabh Pant's in the middle overs put India in a fix. Suryakumar Yadav's 39 and Deepak Chahar's counter-attacking 54 of 34 brought India close to the target even as wickets kept tumbling. Chahar's wicket in the penultimate over of the match was the final nail in the coffin for India as the visitors were bowled out in the final over. South Africa's Quinton de Kock hit a splendid 124 to help his team to a fighting total. As India return home after a disappointing tour of South Africa, they will have some regrouping to do as they look ahead to the 2022 Men's T20 World Cup, which will be held in Australia from October 16 to November 13. India will begin their campaign against Pakistan on October 23 at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. After losing to Pakistan for the first time ever in World Cup history in the 2021 edition, India, hopefully having learned their lessons from a poor outing in the UAE in 2021, will look to begin this edition of the tournament with a win. India have been placed in Group 2 of the Super 12 stage of the tournament along with South Africa, Bangladesh and 2 qualifiers beside Pakistan. India's other matches are against qualifier Group A on October 27 in Sydney, South Africa on October 30 in Perth, Bangladesh on November 2 in Adelaide and qualifier Group B on November 6 in Melbourne. The 2 semi-finals will be played on November 9 and 10 in Sydney and Adelaide respectively, and the final will be played at the MCG on November 13. In the IPL this year, there will be more opportunities for Indian cricketers to catch the selectors' eyes as there are 2 new teams in the tournament based out of Ahmedabad and Lucknow. Both teams have named the players they have drafted from the auction pool ahead of the February 12 and 13 auctions. KL Rahul has been picked by Lucknow for Rs 17 crore, making him the joint highest paid cricketer in the IPL across seasons alongside Royal Challengers Bangalore's Virat Kohli. Rahul has been named the captain of the Lucknow team, who have also picked Australian all-rounder Marcus Stoinis for 9.2 crore and uncapped Indian leg spinner Ravi Bishnoi for Rs 4 crore. Ahmedabad have named Hardik Pandya as captain. Pandya will be paid Rs 15 crore, the same as star Afghanistan leg spinner Rashid Khan, who has also been picked by Ahmedabad alongside opening batsman Shubman Gill for 8 crore. From one high-profile tournament scheduled to be held in Australia, we move to another high-profile tournament that is live in Melbourne. We just got through the first week of the 2022 Australian Open, and there was a huge development in the opening week itself when India's 6-time doubles Grand Slam champion Sania Mirza decided to call time on her career at the end of the 2022 season. Mirza and her women's doubles partner 𝗱𝗱 𝘂𝗀 were knocked out of the first round of the tournament, and in the post-match press conference, Mirza declared that she would retire. There's a bunch of reasons for it. It's not as simple as, okay, I'm not going to play. I do feel my recovery is taking longer. I do feel, considering my son is 3 years old, I'm putting him at risk by traveling so much with him. That's something I've taken into account, Mirza said. For India's first female tennis superstar, the past 1 year brought more disappointment than success. She was knocked out in the first round of the 2021 Tokyo Olympics last year, bowed out in the first round in both women's doubles and mixed doubles at the US Open 2021, and lost in the second and third rounds respectively in the women's and mixed doubles at the Wimbledon last year. With the last of her 6 Grand Slam titles coming in the Australian Open in 2016, where she paired with Swiss legend Martina Hingis to win her 3rd consecutive Grand Slam title, Mirza's dry run has extended for nearly 6 years. However, she has 3 more Grand Slams to go before she finally hangs up her boots. At the Rod Laver Arena this past week, Rafael Nadal and Daniil Medvedev moved into the 4th round in the men's singles event, even as Alexander Zverev was knocked out. In women's singles, Naomi Osaka bowed out of the tournament. Mirza and her mixed doubles partner Rajiv Ram of the USA moved into the 4th round after beating the pair of Hélène Pérez and 𝗱𝗶𝗹𝗆𝘀 7-6, 6-4. That is all that we have for you this week. Next week we'll be building up to the IPL 2022 auctions, and we'll have for you all the updates from the business end of the Australian Open. Until then, stay safe and keep hitting them out of the park.